So, welcome back to another episode of the Morning Chat. I'm Gabby Dodado, and I'm here with Ash Lamaro, who was on season 4 of Temptation Island. So, she's going to chat with us. I am so obsessed with the show, and I was so invested in your season. I was literally watching every week, like dying to know how it would all turn out.
It
Yeah,
was I
there was
kind
a
of
lot going
same.
on.
I was there and I was like, what is going to happen next? I did not mentally prepare for I guess my story arc. I was not
Mm,
Men are really really good at like their game of pretend, I've noticed.
mm, mm. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. And what made you want to apply for Temptation Island? Or where did
Um
you see that opportunity?
so it was on my backstage. I do acting and modeling
Okay.
and I had seen it on my backstage. I mean, I had applied to a bunch of stuff. The producers will hate this. But I basically signed up because I was like, I have never heard of this show. None of my friends have ever heard of this show. And I really need money right now. And so I signed up for it. And
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of gone that way. Like no one in my family has really like they watched it because I was on it, but they were like,
Mhm.
I've never heard of this. And I was like, yeah, it was strategic. I don't know if I would have
I love
survived.
this.
Like, I don't know if I would have survived something like Love Island or Love is Blind, but those Love is Blind kind
Mhm.
of inspired me to do it because I am a hopeful romantic. I was like, who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, is that something that you would be interested in?
I think that would be a really fun experience.
Mhm.
My favorites. I feel like the first season of that show was incredible because you had
Mm.
I'm forgetting their names. They're still together though.
Oh, Amber and that one couple, and the
Yes,
guy
he's
was
like,
an engineer, and Barnett.
oh, oh my God, they're together still, and the other one, damn, what are their names? This is why I'm
I have to
bad.
look it up. They were, let me look at, they were, yeah, they were good. That first season was so,
Oh my
they
gosh. And then
matched them right.
I watched that second season with that is was he the guy with that acted like a toddler? Like everything he did was like a little
Shake?
baby.
Shake?
Yeah,
No?
I think that's I think that's what his name is in season 2.
Oh.
He's always got like his face is
Oh,
always like this.
I see the name of the couple I think you're talking about, Lauren and Cameron. They
Yes, Lauren and Cameron.
they were so cute. Yeah.
They're like the cutest, like that. I've said to my friends, I'm like, I feel like the reason that that show exists was so they could find each other. Like, I feel like that's what
That's
the
so beautiful.
universe, I feel like that's what it was doing. Cause then all the most recent seasons are definitely entertaining. I've had a lot of fun watching them, but I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
the flavor's a little different.
And I feel like your show was almost more like emotionally stressful because I mean, I couldn't even imagine if I'm with a guy who like maybe we're on the rocks and then I have to watch him with other women. I mean, and you're bound. Everyone's drinking, there's alcohol, there's people.
Yeah.
Like
We were
that's more like
also like,
yeah.
we were also under like house arrest. Like, we could not go anywhere. So we're on this like beautiful island and you
Yeah.
are just locked in this house. You can't do anything. So like on top of that, you're just stressed out because you're kind of living like an adult baby experience. Like other people have to
Right.
do everything for you. And then I personally have always said that I never want to like live with a man.
Yeah.
I did it once. I had to live with 12 of them, and that was the most disgusting experience I've
I can't. I feel like there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see. Like what you just said, living with 12 guys. Like I can't imagine.
They eat so much. They eat so much. The biggest drama was like food and just having enough water, honestly.
Oh my
But
God.
it was, yeah, there was a lot that happened that I think personally, like a lot of us cast members were a little surprised didn't get kept in. Me mostly. I was like, why didn't they keep that? Because it would have made someone not look so
Really?
strong.
So do
Yeah.
you think producers had involvement of like who they chose to make look a certain way? Because some people do end up getting like a bad edit, right?
Oh yes. Oh, some people end up with a way better edit than they freaking deserved.
Yeah, yeah.
That happened in that happened in my case. Well, not me.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm great. I'm kidding.
That's okay.
I cried a lot. I actually was not a fan of my edit, but I don't think anyone really is. I feel like um you get a little bit worried about like how you're going to come across and how much
Mm-hmm.
of you gets removed in the end because you have so many people's stories that they're trying to tell. So
Mm-hmm.
they cut out a lot of like I guess character building, like things that show
Mm,
who someone is and how they react to certain situations because may not necessarily sell or it's not the type of formula that they've been following. Like it might be a
right.
little too messy. And this is supposed to be very romantic and hopeful and also messy at the same time, but balanced.
Well, can I just say I thought you carried yourself well. Like I was like glad to see like when you went in with Hanya and his, you could see how he, wasn't treating you the way you deserved. But I feel like by the end of it, you saw like you came to those conclusions on your own. Like you saw it for yourself.
Yeah. The other thing was like that's a lot of what they cut out. I had already been a little bit disenchanted. Like there were some arguments that were happening
Hmm.
beforehand, but I did definitely grow on the show. Like there was a naivety and a people pleaser tendency I had
Hmm.
going into it. Like I really did. I was like, oh, I want to be with Hanya, blah blah. But he really had like pushed an open relationship, and
Hmm.
I had already known that he was not being great. But like
Right.
every woman that wants, like any femme presenting person or anyone that's got
Yeah.
like people pleaser tendencies,
Yeah.
avoidant attachment issues, you're like, I want to do what I can to keep this person because you feel
Yeah.
more worthy having to earn love.
Right. And it's so
And
crazy how like when you're in it versus when you're out of it, it's so hard to get out of it. Like when it's so like people don't realize they're like, well, why doesn't she just leave? But it's like they don't understand like how hard it is because I've been there too.
yeah,
It's like,
and then
mhm,
you also have like certain personality types that convince you
mhm,
like everything is wrong with you. And that's kind of what I was
right,
experiencing in that situation. Like I was the one that needed to change all of my stuff. And because of the way I had grown up, I wholeheartedly believed him because like you hear something enough, you're like,
mhm,
it must be fact. Um,
right,
he I get now, like I've seen a lot, but one of the best parts about that show is, yeah, when you're in it, it's really hard, but that pulls you so far out of it
mhm.
so fast that you're like,
You see it for what it
oh,
is. Yeah, you have more
what
clarity.
am I doing? Like, it's
Mhm.
like the hardest smack in the face. And then you have like 12 other people also watching and judging you for that. They're like, well, why would you put up with that treatment? Listen, bitch, I'm traumatized. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
My bad, dude. I'm fixing
Like
it
I'm doing my
now.
best. Yeah. And then maybe
Yeah,
it was a good
doing
thing
my
that you went
best.
on. Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
blessing in disguise. Yeah. Yeah.
I am very, very grateful for the opportunity. A lot of things became very obvious to me. I like to think I had like a very violent glow up after the show. Like it was like a hit the ground running type thing. I
Mm.
There's like a bell curve of learning when it comes to like your emotional state and worthiness, especially after so many years. Like I
Mhm.
haven't had good experiences ever. I'm having a good one now though, and it's the most secret thing in the world and I love it. I'm like, you're just
Oh, I
um
love that.
but it really did kind of snap me back to like you are much better than this. And I
Mm.
really am affected by like my surroundings and being in New Mexico for 4 years, not really growing, not really having the industry or friends or family I was used to, and that dating pool being this big.
Oh,
That
yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
that guy seemed great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
Like, you're not an alcoholic. You have your own business. Yes.
And what's
Yeah.
interesting
No.
to me is that Hanya seemed like in the show when he had proposed to you, it seemed like maybe he had learned something from this whole experience. Like you saw him, I don't know if you remember that one scene. I remember it now. He was crying and he was like, I can't believe I treated her this way. Like I was lying. He kind of like came clean about everything. Or do you think that was genuine?
No.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
because he he had been given the opportunity for like a healthy like, this was something I wasn't allowed to mention on the show, but like I had given
Okay.
him the opportunity to have an open relationship with me
Okay. Okay.
when I had, because I was living part-time in New
Oh, so
York.
you don't feel like it was like you were being like it was deceitful then? Like it's not really called cheating then if that's what,
Well,
right?
it shouldn't be, but I had
Which
given him
yeah.
3 rules, which was
Okay.
like, I need to know about them, they need to know about me, and you have to use protection.
Yeah. Okay.
He followed one of those rules, and it was he told them about me. It was still hidden. There was just a lot of shady stuff, and the type of dynamic that was there was like, oh well, I did tell you eventually. And it's like, yes, but that's not an open relationship. Like, you
No.
already cheated in a month. But I
Yeah.
was like, okay, we're not gonna I didn't actually know either until after me and him had finished interviewing for the show. He decided to wait till we were done interviewing to let me know that he had done that.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was like, it's just there's a lot of manipulative tactics that, um, like, there's definitely still like an anger in me towards
Mm.
certain parts of that relationship. And it's not
And
because,
naturally, yeah.
yeah, it's not him. It's also like, why I should have just like backed out, been like, no, I already know like this isn't going to work. But I obviously needed to go because I was still willing to like
Mhm.
try with him with
Right.
that. And then we found out while we were in on the show, you find out he's got getting booty call texts while we're in quarantine. And it was just like, so there was really like nothing was changing. And I'm like,
Mm.
did he only hook up with one girl? Because he only told
Right.
told her about one. So I feel like the learning he got on that show was that he's not as great as he formerly thought, or like I don't know. And he could watch
Yeah.
this and randomly message me and be like, "You bitch," which is fine. He's blocked. Um,
Okay.
but I feel like he hadn't really learned anything because we had talked about marriage, and I said
Okay.
never propose to me in public. And what did he do?
Oh, see, I didn't know any of this. So, like when he decided to propose, I was like, "Oh, wow, maybe this guy has learned something from the show.
He had
He's
told me he
serious
never
now."
wanted to get married.
Oh, wow.
I
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
someone he could see himself marrying. So, like, I was very surprised that that happened. I was like, also, I don't know if you guys could see the ring, but it was a men's wedding band. Like, there was no stone in it, there was no
Oh, no.
box. I was just like,
It
so
wasn't you. It wasn't what you wanted.
no, it completely reaffirmed for me
Mm.
that he he wasn't listening. Like, this was more about
Mm.
how he was going to look. Like, if I said yes, I'd look dumb, but he looked great. Like, oh, she took him back. Like, I think I kind of knew from the first week there. I was like, I think I'm leaving here alone. And they edited
Okay.
that out because I was telling Taylor the whole time, I was like, I'm never going to leave with you. I just want you to know that. And he was like, well, why not? And I was like, well, because that's stupid. It's like, that's
They
never
edit because I was
gonna.
gonna say when I was watching that, it looked like it was a very like mutual, like you guys had, formed this bond on this show. You're there on the show, and then you were like, all right, well, now we're going to the real world. So
There was a bond. It was a trauma bond.
Mm.
It was
So
a
I was going to ask you that if you still speak with Taylor at all, but I'll let you go ahead and finish what you were going to say. No.
God. No, I actually he was a great sport about it. Like he kind of just let me say the things I needed to say, which was like I had told him a few times I was like if we weren't in this situation, I would never talk to you. And he was like, "Why?" And I was like, I just wouldn't. I'm like, "You're really buff and that's not cute to me." I was like, "I don't think we're into the same things." I was like, "But I'm not into any of the things that
Wow.
a lot of the guys here are." I was like, "But you're
Right.
hot." And he was
Mm.
like, "Thank you." Like he knew what his role was, but it got like we were at each other's throats a lot. We got into a fight on our like fourth day there. We'd avoid each other most of the time.
Okay.
A lot of the on-screen stuff, there was like a producer behind the camera being like, "Can you pretend to like each other today? Like just keep going through it. Like
Really?
we have the storyline now, you guys have to finish it." So they'd be like, "How much fun did you have?" And I was like, "Cool. I will pretend. That's fine." Like we didn't have anything to talk about. The things we did have to talk about very much had to do with like pain we had experienced. We had very similar
Mm.
childhoods. We'd been bullied. He reacted to it a different way than I did. He decided to turn into what the bullies wanted of him, and I've just kind of continued
Mm.
being bullied. And I'm good with it. I love it. It gives me good stand-up material. But
No.
I do not talk to him. There was a lot of toxicity there.
Right.
Um,
So do you feel like what we saw on TV was accurate to what was going on, or was there a lot going on behind the scenes that we didn't really see?
there was a lot going on behind the scenes that wasn't really seen. Um,
Okay.
a lot of people got off easy, I think. We had like, is my NDA up? I think so. Whatever. There was like drug busts, there weird like steroid use. There was a lot
Oh,
that
wow.
happened. And I was just like, this is not my group. I'm like, I don't belong here. What do I do? Um, and then there was some like weird hostility from producers, and it was a very unique behind the scenes experience. Like very, very weird.
Yeah.
Lots of secrets.
So was everyone pretty friendly with each other? Like, are you friends with any of the girls still or any of the other couples? Or it was kind of just like, okay, we're here to do our thing and this is, you
I'm
know,
still friends with Ashley and
okay.
her sister actually. Her sister and her actually they have this really, really great company. It's called Rod Sisters Juices.
Oh,
And
nice.
they make these really great juice cleanse and like health drinks. Entrepreneurs right there, but I love both of them. Ashley is one of the sweetest people I have ever met in my life. It's
Oh.
in person too. She'd just like turn her head and I'd be like, Jesus Christ. She is such a gorgeous person and she's so
Yeah.
sweet. She's
Yeah.
so sweet. Lascelles annoyed me the most. Like
Yeah.
him and Hania. I was just like,
No.
what
What is
are
happening?
you doing? Like Lascelles
No, for
shocks
real.
me. I was like, bro, are you joking?
I
Every week.
know.
I
I
was
was
like,
like, come
wow.
on.
Like, dude, do you not see the catch that you
But
have
yeah,
right here?
this is
Sorry,
what
I'm a
why are
potty
men
mouth.
like this? Like it's like
Right?
I saw something the other day that was like, and I feel like this is true. Like as women, whenever we've broken up with a guy, we never go back because it's like we made that decision. But most of the time when guys leave a girl, they always end up coming back because they don't realize what they
Mhm.
have. Like they never realize what they have.
Yes. Plus, there's also something with groups of women that I've noticed is not necessarily fully held. We're going to lightly dip into feminism. Women hold
Yeah.
other women accountable.
Mm.
So it's like I know a lot. Me personally, sometimes it's like I won't get back with someone because that would just be an embarrassment. I would be embarrassed
Right.
to say
Right.
that to any of my girlfriends. I'd be like, so I
They're
got
like,
back
what the
with
hell are you
Chad.
doing?
Like, no. They'd be like, what is wrong with you? Drunk girls
No.
will even hold you accountable in the bathroom. You'll be like,
Hmm.
I want to call my ex. 3 random voices. Do not call your
No.
ex.
That's so
You're like,
true.
I don't even know you guys. Thank you. Men are like,
Right.
yeah, you can get it. You should do it, homie.
Yeah. It's like go ahead, do whatever you want. No repercussions. Yeah, just
Like full repercussions, dude. The repercussion was
yeah.
losing him in the first place.
Mm.
Yeah, that is definitely men will always come back because they're like, damn, she really
Yeah.
did love me, bro. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
she really
Yeah.
did. Or
Yeah.
something I noticed in Lascelles' case was he took a lot of credit for who Ashley is, and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
pretty sure that, like, he'd talk about it. He's like, I'm like the coach
oh.
based
She did
on.
that on her own. Stop.
Oh
Stop.
my God. Like you can just look at her and be like, I'm pretty sure she was the coach and you were just like, yeah, I look better next to this person. I
Yeah,
don't,
for real.
like I was very mean to all the guys.
They
Well,
deserved it.
not very mean, but like the boyfriends, I'm like, you are all being real dumb.
Yeah,
Real
for
dumb.
real. Was there anyone, any of the other couples that you were surprised by their, like, final decisions? Or you could tell the direction
Ashley,
that it was going in? Ashley? Yeah.
um, we all, like, all of us were there for it. We were like, you know what? It was 7 years. It's a 7-year relationship. I would also
Mm.
be like, we can work through it. But I was like, baby girl, no. She still did great. She got away. She was like, no, I'm changing my mind. I was like, yes, snaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
She figured it out.
I I would say it was probably hoping for Iris to leave whatever his name is.
They're not together anymore, right?
I
I think
have
they
no
tried to
idea
see
what that
doing
is
a ch
because he was found on Tinder. Like that, okay. I had an opinion about that
Oh,
man on the reunion, and people are like, why do you hate him so much? And I'm like, because he definitely has cheated. She just doesn't know about it, so he doesn't have to
right.
own up to it.
You're
And
just
his
trying to share the truth.
behavior, yeah, his behavior since then has basically just been like, I am going to stick by what I said because I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah. People's
He
true
seems a
colors, they
little
always
shady.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're engaged to this girl. You got engaged on a TV show and you're putting your fucking face on Tinder. What are you doing?
Why are boys
Oh,
so stupid?
I'm like, you were on
Why?
a national television show. Why are you doing this? See, but that's happened on like other
Oh.
reality shows too. They'll go and they're like, "Oh, look who I found on Bumble," and I'm just like, "Weren't you on Netflix? Why did you what?"
What is happening right now?
Yeah, men. There's anything they have, it is the audacity. Truly.
Truly.
Oh, hi,
Do you have
puppy.
oh, do you have a pet?
I do. I have my.
Oh, look at how
This
cute.
is oh, thanks. I'm gonna let you go back down. I saw you looking at me, and I had to give you a hug. Sorry.
That's so cute.
Thank you. His name is Sinbad.
Sinbad.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for anyone that might be considering Temptation Island if they're in a relationship and they want to test their partner? They're
Um,
seriously thinking about going on the show.
if they're seriously thinking about going on the show, I would say make sure you have a thick skin
Mm,
and be honest with yourself about the person that you're already with if you're going on with a partner. If you're going on as a single, I would suggest my advice would be keep an open mind, but don't have any expectations. Actually, that would be good advice for both. Like you really don't know what's going to happen, but you should
right.
absolutely be open to the journey of all of it. Like, I am so grateful for that journey.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be where I am without it. Like, I really do feel like a completely different person. So, but you have to surrender. You just have to surrender to it.
Yeah. And I feel like you could see on the show too, like watching you in the first episode and then at the end, like I said before, it seemed like you had really come a long way and you saw like
Yeah, there was, I even saw it. I saw like a timidness, like an
mm,
inability to say what I really wanted.
mm,
And that was not gone by the end. It was just like, you have a lot of people supporting you. So it's a lot easier to be like, I am bigger than this. I don't want this. Like, the people pleaser in me almost said yes to that really depressing marriage proposal just because I was like, wow, this is gonna like hurt him.
you're thinking about him and not
Yes.
you.
And I'm like, ew. I'm like, do
I
I
know.
like this? Is this how I wanted to be proposed to? Do we really? And it's like, no, none of this. But it one of the hardest things is standing up for yourself in a room where no one else is going to speak on your behalf. And it is something every person should be proud of, especially femme presenting and women in the world, because Lord knows everybody wants us to just keep it quiet. If you can speak
Yeah.
up for yourself, do it.
That's so important.
Hmm.
And it can
And
be
it's hard.
hard. And it's so hard. Yeah.
It's like asking for a raise. Like, you're terrified to ask for a raise, but it's like, you know the
Yeah.
amount of work you're doing. You know
You
what
know
your
your
work is
worth.
worth.
Mm,
It's all about that, like knowing you're worth more. And then with practice, it just gets a lot easier. And you find out what it feels like when you've overstepped your own boundaries and what it feels like when someone's pressing your boundaries. You're like, oh, I now know the correct times to speak up and be like, I'm not comfortable with
right.
this, or it's not okay if you do that. This is how it makes me feel. And all of it is valid and it's great. Hard, but
Mm.
worth it.
Hard, but it's like a lesson that it helps you learn and develop
Mhm.
and
And it feeds so many different areas of your life, like clothing even. Like, I can look at um more fashion magazines and be like, that, no, that's not for me. That's not
yeah.
my
Yeah.
ad. You're like, and it has nothing to do with you necessarily. It's just like, you make better fashion choices. You're like, no, I'm going to dress for my body type. I don't care if someone else says it's in or it's out. I want to wear
Yeah.
this. I want to work this job. I want to go to these types of places. I want to look like this. It makes it so easy to just authentically live your own life by being able to
Mm.
speak up.
That was well said.
Thank you.
I think it's a good
Sometimes I have
message
issues.
for yeah, for women to hear too.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So it's a tough existence,
It is.
especially when we don't run the world. We'd be better at it, I
We
think.
would. So what are you up to now? What are some of your long-term goals?
So I finally got out of Santa Fe. I wasn't able to move to New York like I'd wanted. Certain stuff with the show had sort of stepped in, but I'm living in Las Vegas now. I work
Okay.
as a personal stylist and content creator, not necessarily for myself. I'm better at doing it for other people, but
Yeah.
I'm a little bit further in the music scene than I was before. Um, Trying to get into stand up, but I don't have enough material yet. But I'm really pursuing my fashion, so I'm doing personal styling. I'm going to start doing more style-based videos on my Instagram, and I'm starting up my photography again, which is really, really exciting. I'm realizing I might enjoy being behind the camera a little bit more than in front of it.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're an artist then. You're very creative,
Oh
like
yeah.
a creative side to you.
Oh yes. I feel like I
Yeah.
would shrivel up and wilt if I wasn't creating something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Style is a huge creative outlet.
It is. It is.
I'm hoping to get into sustainable fashion a little bit later this year, try and downsize the fast fashion industry. I think there's a lot of growth that can happen there, green resources and everything. So I'm leaning
Yeah.
more into that. I need to know more about business. I've got all the creative things, but you've got to get the business
The
side of things
business
going.
aspect. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice. Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been such a great chat. I enjoyed learning more about you and your experience on the show.
Thank you for talking with me.
Oh, and where can, if anyone wants to follow you, are you on Instagram, TikTok,
Yes,
YouTube?
you can follow me on Instagram at Ashe with an E dot Lamrout. It's LAMIROULT. I'm on TikTok as Rowan Ashe, Rowan.Ashe. It's supposed to sound a little dirty. I don't
Oh,
know why I do these things. And then I'm on Twitter as that Ashhole.
that's my favorite one. That
Yeah,
is so
it was
funny.
suggested I get rid of it, and I'm like, I think I want to bring it
No,
back. Yeah,
no,
we might go back to that Ashhole. I think it's been long enough,
that's so funny. I like that.
right? It's a good name. I had it for like 7 years. I have it on hold, so it's okay.
There you go. You can bring it back up.
Easy.